Hi guys, welcome to Yoga Chitta podcast. I would like to welcome Ashwin. Welcome Ashwin to the podcast.
Thank you, Yuvraj. Always a pleasure to be here.
Same here, Ashwin. All right, so today the topic is third eye.
Mhm.
So Ashwin, can you tell us what exactly is the third eye and where is it?
So the third eye is a visualization um, capacity of the brain, which is pretty much where they show you Shiva's third eye is over here. So this is right between the eyebrows. Then you take like one finger's gap above the eyebrow. Yeah. So these three, it's like this one, two. I mean,
From here.
yeah. So from here to here is the third eye, something like this. Okay, so you can just think it's not it's less than halfway of the forehead, less than
Okay.
halfway. So that's the third eye. But that's just a place where we can actually visualize things. If you close your two eyes, then your third eye will can be opened. But it's not open for everyone because most people have a screen in front of them. They can't see. So what happens is everybody's got a domination of the reticular activation system, which we call talu in yoga. Okay, so talu is like a door. If your energy has to pass through that door, which means you have to be able to ignore all the patterns that are there. For example, let's say you've gone on a trip and you need to extend it 45 days. Okay, and now you have a pattern of never being able to say no to your boss. That pattern is there, so you're already in stress because you know that if you extend it for 45 days something amazing is going to happen, you're going to learn something maybe, but you can't say no to your boss, and you're like, if I say that I lose my job, then all sorts of things will happen. It's very unsafe. You don't know what will happen if you suggest that, but in all likelihood the boss might say, okay, since you got something genuine to learn and you're going to come back with more knowledge, I'll extend your leave, no problem. Maybe he'll say that, no, but we don't think that. We immediately think we can't say that. And it's the same with your parents. It's the same with your spouse. We set into a pattern, and then we like everything to be predictable within that pattern. If anybody behaves outside of the pattern, then everybody loses it. It's what we think, but they don't because they're also sick of the pattern. But uh, this pattern thing is very strong. Okay, so we want to behave in ways that are very set. We don't want to deviate from it. And in that, there's safety, no doubt. There's no danger in it. There's no immediate danger, but there's long term danger of not growing. So if you don't grow, then you can't adapt to the environment around you. You don't become flexible enough to be able to adapt. So that's why most people have that as a screen. That's what they're visualizing. For that, you don't need the third eye. The talu is enough. And the talu is in the brain stem, yeah, what we call the pons. In that area, there is the reticular activation system, also RAS, and it's just going to hold us back. It is something that doesn't allow us to break a pattern that's been there. So we're held together by the patterns, and everyone's got a pattern screen in front of them, so they can't hear you. If you tell them, look at this glorious sight, they'll hear this. So this is how it is, right? I keep repeating to people. Even right now, I'm coaching a student of mine, and I'm like, yeah. So the student is asking me, why am I angry? Why am I angry? I told her at least 40 times why she's angry. It's to avoid facing the fact that certain people in her life don't care about her. Okay. But I've said No, I've said so many words. These people don't care about you. You know what she heard? About. Because screen. What I'm saying falls outside the pattern. So she's not able to deal with that. She feels unequipped to deal with that. So she has to step out of her pattern of assuming that such people have to care about me. Right? These people have to care about me because that's what I saw in the movie Hum Saath Saath Hai. That pattern. So now I can't escape that pattern. So I told her, these people don't care about you. What is she here? About. So like that, you can go on telling people things, but they're always seeing the screen. And that's what it means to have your third eye shut, okay? So when somebody needs to hear something, right? This marriage isn't working out. You know what they hear? This. The rest of it they can't hear. They just block it out with the patterns. That's outside the pattern. How can marriages not work out? So many people lived happily ever after, starting with Rapunzel and Sleeping Beauty and whatever her name is, Snow White. How I'm not happily ever after? I can't accept this. So then you block it out, okay? So a lot of people are blocking out obvious things for which are detrimental to their well-being, but still they feel safe doing it because they're not raking up a conflict. Otherwise, then you'll have to do a lot of conflict resolution and so much shit you have to do, right? So you just continue with your pattern, yeah, and you say this is how it is. So such people have their third eye perfectly shut, and their energy can go up and down. Their emotions can go up and down the spine, right from the mula, which is the base of the spine, all the way to the talu, which is the top of the spine. Doesn't further go higher than that. The energy doesn't go higher than that. The complex of the third eye has many important spots. Right at the bridge of the nose is a spot called kapata, and there is a part of the brain right behind that. Okay, it's a very important part of the brain, and then there's right between the eyebrows there is something called bhrumadhya, very important part of the brain, that also prefrontal cortex. And then there's the third eye, which is the visualization capacity of the prefrontal cortex. It's connected to the visual cortex in the back, the third eye. So then we can, you know, Jesus also wrote, when your eye is single, then some amazing shit is going to happen. I don't know the exact quotation, but he talked about your eye being single. So when is your eye single? When the two eyes are closed and the third eye is open, then you open yourself out to visual rendering of knowledge around you. And that visual rendering is very important because it breaks patterns. It allows you to break patterns. So there is also the Agya chakra, which is in between the visual cortex and the third eye. Right in the middle, bang, is the pituitary gland. Not the pituitary gland, what is it called? Pineal gland. Yeah, yeah. So that's right in the center. And that gland is also very important because it's responsible for certain hormones. And if it starts releasing its hormones and its neurotransmitters, then you will be in a different zone of flow. Everything flows. You don't have to struggle. Okay, so it's a key to superpowers. The third eye opening is a key to the superpowers. And what do you mean by opening? It's not like something is going to open inside your brain. It is not surgery or something, you know. But earlier they used to drill here, man. They used to drill here and try to open the third eye that way, and then a lot of people died. And then they stopped after that. Trying to decode what the yogis have written, right? Lots of things they do. They they start cutting this lingular frenulum, which holds your tongue. They start grinding it with a smooth stone. Sorry, slightly rough stone. It's very painful procedure. Finally, it goes away. Your tongue doesn't have any control. It's all over the place. And then they swallow their tongue and push it up. And then they realize after all that, nothing happened. But they've already done a whole lot of body mutilation, right? To be an Nath yogi, you have to mutilate your ears also. And they're called kanfatas. So they have to wear that big ring in their ear and slowly expand it. That's also a big deal. Like, so people do all sorts of physical torture trying to open the third eye from inside, from outside, and all sorts of stuff, you know. Then the regular yogis putting things up their nose and doing this out through your mouth, sutra neti, and then doing like this. It's good for correcting the deviated septum. Other than that, there's not much use of doing all of these things. You have to understand the code that is written in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Most people don't get it. They don't understand what's written there. It's all in code. It's not literally what they ask you to do. Literally, they have asked you to put certain insertions here and there. There's certain code behind that, and if you don't know that, then you cannot understand what the third eye is. Anyway, that code is all secret stuff, which is only revealed to students of yoga, serious students. And believe me, it doesn't involve any kind of body modification. Your body is perfect as it is, and it can easily open a third eye. But I've given you quite a bit of a clue as to what the third eye is. So, the third eye also is a source of great power, and it's a very big energy center from which you may actually receive and transmit energy to any part of the universe. It can cross space time if it's open. Anyway, I hope you have more questions.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, how who is ready to go through this experience of having their third eye open? How do they decide?
You have to give up fear, which the reticular activation system gives you that safety. You have to be ready to leave that safety of patterns. If you're ready to leave that safety of patterns, then of course you can do it. It's no big deal. But the problem is people are not very ready to do this, right? They want to continue with the same actions that they've been doing for years and years and years. And when I tell them this, you want to continue the same actions that you've been doing for years and years and years, they'll hear doing. So they're not ready. If you can hear my sentences, which I spoke from beginning to now, you'll be ready. You're like, yeah, I don't need this crap. Why I need this? Why do I need to be a limited human being? Why can't I be like a unlimited, powerful creature with superpowers? But who wants to be there? That's outside the pattern. It's not safe. Do you want to be an unlimited creature with superpowers? They hear you. That's why most people are not ready. There's a technical term for it. It's called craniorectal absorption. Cranium has got inside the rectum. It's absorbed. Then you're a closed loop. Your feedback is you can only see yourself. All sides you look, there is only yourself. You can't see the world. Can't hear also very well. Doesn't conduct sound. But it feels safe. In simple English, it's called having your head up your ass. It's a technical medical condition. So those who don't have it are ready. Yeah, of course.
Okay. What kind of superpowers do you mean when you say that kind of experience can happen?
The ability to influence matter and energy around you, the ability to tune into matter and energy around you. More than influence, it's more like you tune in and you're an insider on what's happening in the universe. You don't feel like it's separate from you. So you have the power of everything. So you want to push something, you can use the momentum of the earth to push it. If you want to lift something, you can use the momentum of the earth to lift it. That's just the beginning of it. There's nothing. Strength is the one beginning of it. You get rapid healing. You're able to remove karma, you know. I know some people who reject the idea that they can't remove karma and they want to win that argument. And if you win that argument, you know what happens exactly? You get to keep your bloody karma, which is obviously not very good because so you get the ability to change your software, you get the ability to update yourself, and it's a need basis. Okay, whatever you need, you'll be able to do uh, with minimum fuss and minimum problems. And you'll have a deep understanding of what's happening around you, even when things are not working out. You'll have a very deep understanding of why it's not working out, and you'll be relaxed. You won't raise your blood pressure for that. So, it's superpower, man. Let me give you an example of a superpower that I have. It's called emotional stability. People don't have this shit. It's not there. It's not common for me to find an adult who's an adult. They don't want to do this adulting. Like, take responsibility for my life. And I'm like, how can I do this? Take responsibility for my emotion. Come on. With great power comes great response. I'm surrounded by such people and I'm able to live with them in harmony. So, superpower, isn't it? Earlier, I didn't have the superpower. I would slap them left, right, and center. And then I had to stop. Like, after I came back from the mountains, I'm like, why are you all behaving like this? I didn't know all this technical shit, right? So then I slowly started learning it. And thanks to my guru and also thanks to my humility, I could shut my ego away somewhere, throw it away, and learn. So I started learning. I started listening to things that are not the pattern. You know, from when I was a child, I have this superpower. I'm not emotionally disturbed at all. I've never been emotionally disturbed even one day in my life. It's like a superpower, right? So some people call it autism, but it's not autism. I'm not autistic. I can empathize. I can understand that people are feeling like shit, but I am not going to feel like shit in the process of understanding their shit. That's what makes me a good healer because I can have empathy as well, and then I don't get carried away and I don't vibrate in the same way. There's a difference between empathy and sympathy. In sympathy, you're also vibrating the same way as somebody else. But in empathy, you keep your unique vibration, protect yourself, and you do understand how they feel. You don't feel how they feel, but you understand how they feel. Okay, they are in this level of deep shit, and then you can help them out. So that's also a superpower. Another superpower I have is to heal very rapidly from things. I've like healed from a lot of stuff, man. Like even now, my foot was badly injured, and then I asked my students to find out why, and they found out what karma is happening there, and they cleared it also, and the pain is almost gone. Plus, two people are coming tomorrow to cure my foot in the house only. I don't have to leave my house. Everything comes here. Okay, so that's it's kind of superpower. So you're not afraid. Whatever needs you have, they're all fulfilled. And it takes its time and whatever, but you'll have patience, which is another superpower that nobody has. They want things to be okay tomorrow. Doesn't work like that. Having patience and allowing things to do what they do, let things grow as they grow. You you skipped eating a walnut and you planted the seed, and tomorrow you're depressed that nothing came. It takes 12 years to get walnuts. Do you have that kind of patience? You want something fast, eat wheatgrass, it'll come tomorrow. What's the use? Is it a walnut? Does it have omega-3 fats? No, it has some chlorophyll. So people are happy with chlorophyll. You want something, you have to wait for it. That takes patience. They don't have this major missing ingredient in the human experience, patience. Is becoming less and less in the world. But they have great patience to go stand and get vaccinated. I don't know why. But they're doing it. Like lots of lines. When they have fear, suddenly people get patience. When they're afraid. When they're not afraid, you need to be forced to have patience or what? Anyway, so that's another superpower. So I can think of many, many superpowers that you're supposed to have. Like starting from the physical superpowers, the ability uh, to be youthful. Yeah, I'm 45 now. I feel I'm pretty youthful, man. So we've lost all of these powers because we've closed our eyes. We've closed our third eye and we have opened our two eyes, and that also there's a big screen in front of it. In front of our ears also there's a screen. In front of our eyes also there's a screen, right? God can come and stand in front of you, and you will see a cheater. You never see human beings for who they are. You see human beings for who you are. You think everyone thinks like you. So the ability to see people for who they are itself is a superpower. So there are lots of superpowers which come when you open your eyes. Okay, it's not one or two. I can't list them. There's so many. Margold has a question. Can you take it?
Should I? Yeah, sure.
Is karma the same as samskara? No. Samskara is your reticular activation system, the patterns that are stored. But karma is the software that operates the universe. So karma is the software by which everything runs. So it says what sequence, what happens next, what's next, what's next. Okay. If this, then what? If this, then that. If this happens, then what to do? I have three options A, B, C. Which one to choose? Your karma tells you which one to choose. It's a system logic as well. It's also system sequencing and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So it's order in the universe. Karma is order in the universe. Samskara is your reticular activation system, the patterns that you stored wittingly or unwittingly. Okay, that's the clearest answer I've heard about samskara and karma.
Okay.
But people would have heard difference. Okay.
Okay, so is it possible that someone has his third eye already open, or they can easily get over
Yeah,
their
I
fear?
mean, you observe them, Yuvraj. If they're not behaving like a clown, they have their third eye open. Otherwise, they'll be like doing some ritual, like ritual moon third eye opening on 27th when Mars is retrograde in up Pluto's bottom. Something they'll have some big event, special one. Libra's tail is in my nose. Something. We'll call a special event on a full moon, like not likely to get your third eye open. Ayahuasca ceremony. Only by invitation, close friends only, to bond better. When you hear all that, run away. That's not third eye opening stuff. This is people getting high, okay? So everybody who's high doesn't mean they have opened the third eye, because when you get high, you rotate in your patterns. You know, a lot of people waste good psychedelics rotating in their patterns. So there are many people trying to do psychedelics and trying to do fasting, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. You don't have to do any of the crap. You have to give up your ego and your fear that everything has to be in a pattern, that insistence is ego, and that it's not safe if everything is not in a pattern is fear. If you have these two, you cannot cross the talu. You don't get to use the rest of your brain. Using like 10% of your brain stem, there's no difference between a lizard and this person. Lizard has patterns, it can't break it. There's no third eye for a lizard or a crocodile or a tortoise. But sometimes feel tortoises are better somehow. I mean, I've seen some people who have pet tortoises and have interacted with them. It's slightly better than lizards in their adaptation. I mean, but garden lizards are better than the ones that sit in your house.
So, okay, my next question was how can one go about opening their third eye? But I guess that answers it by giving up fear.
Yeah, well, yeah, no ego and no fear. Try and get a good guru. Yeah, that will cover it. That's how it worked for me.
You know, some people they try to take up risks so that they can get over their fear. Is that a wise strategy?
No. Why should you take risks? So, fear is something you can't rebel against. It's like a real sense of danger. You have to protect yourself from it. Like, yeah, if this happens and I'm equipped to deal with it, you got to feel that. Yeah, I'm equipped to deal with it because I can wait. I can impose my boundaries. I can say no. I can say the magic mantra. Fuck off. And then, then you're like, I have a backup plan. Oh, worst comes to worst, I have this knife, I'll stab them in the eyes or something. But when you have a plan and you are not afraid to execute that plan, then you can stand up to, there should not be any risk. You should know that, if things go south, then I have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, plan G, plan H, plan I, plan J, everything you should have. So when you have such kind of backup and you know how to execute it and you practiced it 3 or 4 times, getting into those states, your landscape of your mind, that how you got to change and switch to adapt to what's happening around you, then you can go and face. But there's a difference between foolhardiness and bravery. Bravery has a plan. Foolhardiness doesn't have a plan. That's the difference. Okay. So if you ask a brave person what you're going to do, he says, if this happens, this I'll do. If this happens, this I'll do. A lot of foolhardy people have been mistaken for bravery because they got lucky and then they worship for it. They're gamblers. So don't be a gambler. You can't just muscle your way through your fear. You have to have a plan.
Okay. I think we have questions from
Questions?
the audience. Yes.
All right. Yeah. This is, oh, sorry, we put, okay, you click.
Okay.
So this is Supriya, and she says, I guess very few people have their third eye open. As we talk to people in our day-to-day life, it's easily visible that there's some problem with the energy. Yeah, that's because they're robots. They got caught in their pattern. They're not human anymore. So yeah, you noticed, right? That's great. And then Divya is saying, how to get rid of fear. I recently realized I have been living a fearful life since childhood. A stressful event made me break out some of the fear, but how to get rid of it completely? Mm, get a good teacher like me, and it happens. What else? It's difficult to do things on your own, You need a guide. That's why you need a guru in yoga. So then you'll be able, look, yoga is the ultimate psychology, because there have been a lot of psychotherapy and that and this, and a lot of inventions by the Western mind, but nothing comes close to yoga. All right? Nothing comes close to yoga. So you want to know how yoga say hoga. Okay, but not that stretching. If you go there stretching, sweating, it's not going to happen. You need to work with your mind. You need a teacher who will make you work with your mind. Okay, I'm not saying I'm the only teacher. There are people who can help you work with your mind. Yeah, but it's difficult to even know who's a good teacher, because you go and choose someone who agrees with you, who has the same biases as you. So it's called, I don't know, some kind of bias, confirmation bias. I don't know, whatever. So you go and find someone who says what you want to hear, then you're not going to improve. You'll find someone who doesn't agree with you, a teacher who says, no, 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 you got a problem. Because if you already knew the answer, then you wouldn't have the problem. So you have to be ready to listen that you don't know the answer. You have to be ready to hear that. But when the teacher says you don't know the answer, you hear don't. Then you need to find a teacher with infinite patience, who will go and tell you the same thing, understanding that you have a screen. Yeah. Right. So yes, but if you're asking, is it possible to break free of it completely? Of course, it's possible. Is it necessary to break free of it completely? Of course, it's necessary. So this is why you came on Earth. This is why you came on Earth. Okay. All right. Great. Sukanya is asking, does self-sabotage come from fear? Self-sabotage is a solution to avoid facing something that you don't want to face. Okay. So a lot of people sabotage themselves because if they became successful, then they would have to face something or do some action, something that they want to avoid. A good example is, have a friend whose parents are forcing him to get married. So he started losing hair to become unattractive because he doesn't want to get married. So he's just seeing people and rejecting them. I mean, they're rejecting him, and he's very happy that they are rejecting him, because he looks like an uncle right now. So, and now he doesn't want to get married. So that's self-sabotage, And he's telling me, I don't know why I'm just becoming more and more ugly. I'm getting all these pimples. I'm losing all my hair. I told him it's because you want to sabotage your marriage, self sabotage. Then he says, "Boy, golly, you're right." And I said, "Don't worry. So you've already solved your problem. How to solve your hair loss? I can't solve your hair loss because you've already solved. That's a solution. That's not a problem. Your hair loss is a solution, right?" But he heard loss. So I'm telling him again, 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 again. I've been saying the same thing since 2013, okay? And, like yesterday, somebody might come and tell me, after like 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, after 8 years, they heard, "You very profound. I really understood what you're saying today. Earlier I couldn't understand." I said, "This is not my fault." They heard my. Anyway, so I hope you understood self sabotage, Sukanya. All right.
Okay, I have one question.
Hmm.
Uh,
Ask.
how do people fall into this trap of patterns, security patterns?
Hmm.
Because I presume kids are they try to break their boundaries. That's why they're learning new things.
Hmm.
But as they grow older, they tend to form these very rigid patterns. Why
No,
does it
man.
happen?
I know some kids are not learning either. Like, don't glorify kids, okay? Don't glorify kids because many of them have patterns. They've already got a fully developed ego as soon as they pop out into the world. Many of them. It's not necessary that all kids learn. In fact, many kids are famous for slow learning, right? So I would say that there's a equal number of percentage of blind kids, and that's how they become blind adults. I'm not saying physically blind. You know what I mean? The third eye is closed. Third eye blind. So there are a lot of third eye blind people. Hey, that's the name of a band. Now I understand what they mean. So yeah. So a lot of third eye blind kids also. It's not necessary that all kids are learning fast. In fact, the parents are so fearful even when they're carrying them in the womb. The father and mother are so fearful. They can't trust themselves to deliver the kid. They need a doctor. Everyone's born in a hospital, man. Can you believe it? No one's born at home. They die here and there. Balmuri falls drowned and something else. Like people do risky shit and die everywhere. But many people come back to the hospital to die. Like, this is my home. This is where I came out of. Let me go back there and die. They feel safety. H to H life. Hospital to hospital. In between, they arrange their house also like a hospital with a lot of medicines and medical equipment to check their blood pressure and, whatever. Diabetic equipment. Keep poking yourself, checking it. It's all solutions. They're not problems. Being diabetic is not a problem. If it was a problem, people would solve it. They don't solve it. It's a good solution. Many people would have heard don't. I'm speaking from experience. I know this now. See, I'm so relaxed about it. And so I can go on saying the same thing. I'll say the same thing next week also. And after that also. Anyway, Shobha has a question. Can I take it?
Yeah.
All right. How do we distinguish between visuals from the screen and from the third eye? Um, one will make you stupid and make you from the results. Okay, from the third eye, you'll get fabulous results. You'll be feeling fantastic. You'll be looking fantastic, and you'll have a fantastic time in this world. And if it's coming from the screen, then you'll be like pretty miserable, and your emotions will be in the gutter. Many people heard B. because screen, too much screen time, my phone warns me, you have spent too much screen time today, keep me away. And people just swipe like this and just continue. Okay, it was I have to appreciate you, Raj, for choosing amazing topics. Yeah, it's kick ass. And I'm sure everyone's getting value from it. So, are there any more questions that you or the audience, anybody has any questions?
I don't have any question.
Okay,
I've covered all. I think
Yuvraj
Sukanya
has exhausted his questions.
exhausted my questions.
Does the audience have any questions that I can answer the same thing again? No? Sukanya saying on point. Thank you, Sukanya. Okay, I don't see any questions. Maybe my screen is coming in the way. Can't see. I can't see you sharing this also. Why nobody's hit share yet? So please hit share and share this. Oh, Namrata has a question. Yes.
Can third eye get closed after I've opened it again?
So the question is, can the third eye get closed after I've opened it again? Nah. Why would you do that? If somebody's really truly opened the third eye, then they will never close it. You never want to go back to misery again. Yeah. You're like, whoa. Yeah. It's not like marriage where you kind of do it again second time. Lots of people are doing it. It's not like that. Don't be afraid. Third eye is the end of all patterns. And you're enjoying so many superpowers. Why on earth would you want to go back and live a miserable life where you're at the mercy of your own emotions? Why you need this? Okay, so that's all the questions. Do I hear the sound of you sharing it, guys? Hit share if you got some value. All right, and if you, I'm saying it like 3-4 times so that you hear it. Otherwise, you'll hear hit. Okay. If you think that this is adding value to your life, hit share, everybody, hit share. शेयर करना मत भूलिए. भूलना मत शेयर कीजिए.
People will hear bhool.
Yeah. Okay, there's hearing less and there's hearing extra also. There's another miscommunication where whole extra, you say bhool, they'll say bhool bhulaya. They'll add stuff to it. So that's also possible. Okay. Okay, the ancient yogi shared. Grateful. Thank you. All right. Great. Shall we call it a day?
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for
All
your
right.
time. Thank you, Ashwin.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Yuvraj. And we'll see you next week on Yoga Chitta. Stay subscribed. All right. Bye.